What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Martin Skirsis for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got some breaking news for you, man, right now regarding Dillian Whyte and slow Joyce. Good news, to be fair. I'm happy for these two, man. This is the right play, to tell the truth. Here we are. Bash! Dillian Whyte and slow Joyce are reportedly finalising a deal for a fight on April 5th in Manchester, England. The heavyweight clash will headline Queensberry's first official show with DAZN. Now, we know Frank Warren's muggled off TNT Sports. He's now got the DAZN pattern with Eddie Hearns. They're one big happy family singing Kumbaya around a tree like a pair of hippies. It's good though. And as far as this fight's concerned, banging. Yeah, exactly what needed to be done, to tell the truth. We find out, this honestly, we can talk about AJ being finished, but to be fair to him, let's call a spade here. Who thinks AJ doesn't dispatch of Joyce? I do. Devastating fashion as well. He's too slow and too sharp. Who here thinks AJ doesn't dispatch of Dillian Whyte? So again, we can sit here and say, oh, AJ and Fury are finished. Listen, people, this right here is actually the bona fide. Who is the most finishedness of Britain? Joyce versus Whyte, and we get to see it live. Whoever loses this fight is proper finished. I'm talking finito. And I can't tell you who wins either, to be honest. It's a proper... Look at how bad Dillian Whyte looked. Obviously, this fight will be different. We've got the big nature of it. We'll get them up for it. There'll be no excuse for, oh, I couldn't get up for it. But Dillian Whyte, he's stunk the place out against Purple Aki, Ebenezer Tete. Yeah? Ebenezer Tete, Purple Aki's cousin. No good. He's going live and deaf in there puffing with a 70-year-old man. Equally, Joyce. I think actually Joyce looked better than... I don't know. It's fascinating. This is what I like. Boxing isn't for me about seeing the best fights all the time in terms of undisputed champion versus undisputed champion. It's about having equally matched. I don't want to see Joyce in there with a complete stifler. I don't want to see Dillian Whyte in there with a complete stifler. In this day and age, which really we're probably coming out of the golden era of heavyweight boxing. But at this point, there's a whole bunch of dudes. Wilder, throw Wilder in there. There's a bunch of dudes who, AJ, Wilder, Dillian Whyte, Joyce, who are over their peak, but they're still relevant. In Bongo as well. The winner of this fight, I wouldn't mind seeing fight in Bongo. Francis in Bongo, right? Why not? Wilder, the winner of this fight, I wouldn't mind seeing fight Wilder. The winner of this fight, I wouldn't mind seeing fighting AJ, for example. So there is value here, and I rate this one. I'm glad Joyce is getting a final chance. Don't be under no illusions, no people. This is his last chance, for sure. He's been frozen at his whole career, to tell the truth. Frozen at his whole career. Not right, in my opinion, but for whatever reason he got frozen out. And I'm telling you now, if he don't pull this off with Dillian Whyte, he's got no chance of going anywhere ever again. Yeah? He'll be reverting on his, I don't want to fight Johnny Fisher. That'll be the best he's got to offer. If he loses against Dillian Whyte, the best he'll have is fighting Johnny Fisher somewhere. That's the best. Bottom line. What's he going to do? He's not even in the Fabio Wardley sweepstakes no more after a loss. I don't think. I think Fabio's gone beyond him. Because whatever you say about Fraser Clark, YB, his bones are soft. Whatever. Fraser Clark was not shot to pieces though. Yeah? And Fabio would proper do Joyce some harm. So he's not even in them sweepstakes now. He'd literally be in up-and-comers. He's not even in them. If he loses to Dillian Whyte, he's not even in the Moses Atama sweepstakes. He's just not. It'd be devastating to watch that. We know Wardley and Atama have got nasty right hands. That's the last thing Joyce needs. So he's got to win this fight. Otherwise, he's knocking around with the loser of Dave Allen versus Johnny Fisher. And or possibly the winner, possibly. If he's lucky, get the winner of that fight. That's the best he could hope for. And Dillian Whyte, really... Well, Dillian Whyte's a bit different. He has more of the seasonings as such. Is it possible if Dillian Whyte lost to Joyce, he could get an AJ shot? Well, it's more likely than Joyce getting an AJ shot, but still, I don't know. I'm not even sure if AJ could dip that low. But again, let's say AJ fights Fury twice and then fights Wilder twice, and it's the very last fight of his career, and Dillian Whyte's knocking around, he's been beat by Joyce, for example, AJ might take it. But still, Dillian Whyte don't want to be in that position, because that's all he'll have to offer. Same as Joyce, really. If he loses this fight, there's nowhere for him to go but literally start bootlicking AJ, begging him hard as well. Yeah, Dillian Whyte will have to bring all the Diddy to get that fight on. That's what we have to do. All the baby oils he'll have to bring to AJ's yard to get that fight on if he loses this one. And the reason I mention them bars is to say that that's what makes this interesting. This is it now. Yeah? Joyce really, his last hope was Chisora kind of thing. That was supposed to be a foregone conclusion, to tell the truth. It shouldn't have been like it was. A life and death gets put down. But it was. You don't get another... This is a bailout. Really, Joyce... They're both in a similar position, but there's still questions around Dillian Whyte. His last big loss was against Tyson Fury, so it's somewhat acceptable. Joyce, on the other hand, he lost to Chisora, and a retiree, essentially. Yeah? A semi-retiree Chisora he lost to and got put down. So, irrespective, to be fair, though, of their build-up to this fight, all one of these two cats has to do is lose it, and they're in the same, and they're down bad. Bottom line. And I tell you, actually, Dillian Whyte's in a better position, because if he lost to Joyce, that Chisora fight, right, that will still be there or thereabouts. You know what I mean? So I'd rather be Dillian Whyte in this scenario. And who wins it? That's another question. We haven't got to that yet. I'd probably lean towards Dillian Whyte, to tell the truth. Unfortunately, it's quite sad to say, because I thought in Joyce's prime, there'd be no chance. He'd have walked straight through Dillian Whyte. Too leaky deaky. Yeah, too leaky deaky, not enough cardio. But now, seeing Chisora put him down, Dillian Whyte's not known for a massive right hand. He's more of a left hooker. But I'm sure he'll be honing that for this fight. So, I've got Dillian Whyte. I don't know. It's pretty much a 50-50, to tell the truth. I'm intrigued to see where the odds are. In fact, let's have a look. See if we can get some odds now. Whyte versus Joyce odds. And to be honest, even if Joyce was a heavy underdog, I still wouldn't back him, because he just got no chops left. He got no chops at all, so I can't trust him. So it's irrelevant. I think Joyce will probably be the underdog, because look how finished Chisora looked. It's not like Chisora went in there, yeah, like 1986 Mike Tyson and was pinging against Joyce. We can't sit here and say, well, YB, Joyce lost to Chisora because Chisora looked the best he ever had, or he looked decent. He looked shocking in there. He was goosed after 3 rounds, just sitting on the ropes. So if you get beat by a man like that, Joyce was never quick here, but he looked even slower. His timing wasn't there. I can't see how Dillian Whyte loses this, to be honest. Joyce has really got to... Well, he's 50 years old now, so he's not going to tighten his defence up, but he's got to do something, man. He's got to do something. Coming in like this, Joe, no good. You thought it was funny. I did try to tell Joe. I DM'd Joe and said, listen, Joe, man, you tighten your defence up. You're coming like this. He said, oh, well, my trainer's Cuban, so it don't matter. Oops, now you smoked somewhere. You can't be... Come on, people. You moody Cuban trainer. What's that got to do with your hands being by your chest, though? That's what we need to know. Leaky deaky defence, man. It's no good. But he ain't going to learn now. He's 45 million years old, so he's what he is now. And he's a sucker for a right hand. And what Dillian Whyte's got to do, like Chisora did. Chisora looked at the floor, bowled his right hand over, she goes down. So I can't see what's Joyce going to do. He's too slow. And that was before he went life and death with Chisora. That Chisora fight would have taken something out of him. Bearing in mind the trajectory he was on. He was falling off bad after Zhang. Big bang, I bang you. After Zhang sweet soured his ass, he was going down bigly. Rocketing to the floor. So that Chisora, so wait there, sweet sour has a go on him. Yeah? Sweet sour opens him up. And then Chisora just put the icing on the cake, right? With that bash, he's on the floor. People, when you get the bash, you're on the floor, that don't help nothing, does it? If you're already falling off, and then you get another bash, you're on the floor. I believe, it's only going to make you deteriorate more. So Joe's even going to be even slower and even more shot than he was against Chisora. Equally though, Dillian Whyte sucked in that Tete fight, to be fair, man. To be fair, Tete was slower than Joyce. To be fair, Dillian was making a run. Dillian was blowing, man. So yeah, I mean, it's a good one, that's the truth. These are the best ones. I couldn't tell you who's going to win. I can spend 5 minutes talking about Joyce and convincing myself both ways, and then you look at Dillian, these guys are both finished, man. That's what makes it. But I'm not knocking them. Obviously, everyone at some point is going to be finished, but these two are definitely finished. So it's like it makes sense. That's the truth. It wouldn't make sense Joyce versus Wardley. I wouldn't want to watch that, to be honest. I wouldn't want to watch Dillian Whyte versus Wardley. Right? I wouldn't want to watch Chisora versus Wardley or Atalma. These guys don't need to do that. They're not at that point in their career. They're not at all. And I do think it would be dangerous. But when you got the OAPs fighting together, it's comical. It's like you can get into it. You can buy into it. So, and it's all on the line as well. There's no, oh well, I'll rebuild. Yeah, if someone loses this fight. In fact, I guess that's the thing as well. The best these two men can hope for is put on a banger. You know how Chisora versus Whyte 1 was? And it drives demand for the rematch. That'd probably be their best hope. Have a close, controversial fight, and then do a rematch. Because unless you can drag Wilder in there, or Mbonga in there, or Chisora in there for the winner, which is possible actually. I think the winner probably fights Chisora in the 50th fight. That makes a lot of sense. Because if Joyce beats Whyte, it's like, okay, I want revenge with Chisora. Chisora and Whyte already have a thing, so if Whyte wins, that makes sense, to be fair. These kind of levels here, I'm not even sure I want to see him in there with Mbonga. But then again, Mbonga got knocked out by Johnston. Anthony Johnston sent him to meet his maker, so how much has he got left? We don't know. Because that was hard as well. Real hard shot that was. Anyway, fair play to Frank Warren. I've been calling for this kind of fight. I've been saying these guys should be in a round robin, fighting this level, and he's doing that. This is what was needed. It's a fair play. I couldn't have picked a better fight for both of these men, and I'm glad they're both. It's not going to be a small. Well, it's not like Fury versus Muhammad Ali, but in terms of size, but still, for their level and where they're at, I'm happy they're getting a good payday. It'll be a good payday, right? It's not going to be like, how much do you think Dillian got for Ebenezer Tete? 50 grand, 100 grand tops? If Dillian Whyte made more than 100 grand for Ebenezer Tete, that is criminal, right? That is fraudulent. Seriously. What they called? Scotland Yard needs to investigate. I'm telling you now, if Dillian Whyte got paid more than 100 bags to fight Ebenezer 70-year-old Tete, that there is, what was I going to say? I was building up to it. I forgot it. I forgot the bar I was going to put. A serious 100%, serious fraud. Yeah, that's a crime under the Serious Fraud Act, 1998. That's what that is. Should never be more than 100 bags. Even 100 bags is like, come on, man. I'd get in there for 10 bags and fight that old dude. He was well old as well. He didn't just look old, he was proper old. Proper old. He made Luis Ortiz like he's in nursery. He was that old. Seriously, people, it's shocking. Anyway, on this note, this card's on April 5th, so we've only got 2 months, which is good. I like these quick announcements and the fights on. I have to also, on this card, there's other fights. So we've got Dillian Whyte and Joyce as the main event. And Frank Warren's also given us Lawrence Okolie versus Richard Riakporhe. Fair play, a heavyweight. It's a heavyweight card, this one here. So, this honestly is a banging card. Now, I'm not sure about this one here. You got David Adelele versus Tom Shorts. That's rubbish. And even this one here, to be honest. But the two co-mains, Lawrence Okolie versus Riakporhe, is do or die for both of them, man. You'd obviously back Okolie, but people, when both of these men, they fought Chris Smith, they cacked their pants. So these two, I hate to say it, but Lawrence Okolie and Richard Riakporhe, they've showed me nothing that tells me they are under the lights fighters. I haven't seen no evidence these two can perform under the lights, bottom line. They've both had one big fight. One serious was supposed to. They were both massive favourites. Riakporhe and Okolie were both massive favourites in that fight against Dillian Smith. And they both had the most shocking performances I've watched in recent history. Fact. So do not be shocked here. I'll back Okolie. He's got a little bit more experience than Riakporhe, and he's had a fight at heavyweight. But this could be a proper. You could see two big bulls, their back end drop out on this one. But again, it's intrigue there. You're like, oh, who's going to cack their pants? Are they both going to cack their pants? Is Okolie going to feel something and his back end drop out? Is Riakporhe going to feel something and his back end drop out? Are neither of them going to feel anything, but still, their back end drops out? That's what happened against Dillian Smith, people. Dillian Smith wasn't lighting these men up, and they cacked their pants. That's not what happened. They just got in there and started choking. Fact. Yeah? Dillian Smith didn't rock Riakporhe, and it's like, oh, he's felt something now. None of that happened. Never happened. Psychologically, though, they went into that fight shook, is the truth. Both of them did. Which sets up for, let's see what happens here, man. I will not be shocked if it turns into a hug fest. Seriously. Yeah. These two bullets are renowned for hugging, just clinging on and stumbling around the place. So I think that's probably what will happen. Intriguing, though. Nonetheless. We've also got Adelaide versus Tom Schwartz. Not interested in that. I swear Adelaide was doing something at British level somewhere. Tom Schwartz. Like, who's that? Get him off here, man. I know Fabio Wardley punched him up, but apparently he come back and knocked out some light-skinned Donny. Adelaide did. And they were talking about him fighting someone else with some relevance. I forgot their name now. Either way, forget about that fight, it's rubbish. But this one here, it should have been good. Moses Atalma versus Charles Martin. Come on. No one wants to watch that, man. What's that going to prove? What's that going to prove, man? It's pissing me off. I wouldn't mind, yeah, if Atalma was fighting consistently. For example, he knocks out that big stiff New Zealand dude, Dempsey McKean, in December. And then back in January, February, he's fighting Charles Martin. I ain't got a problem with that. But this guy Atalma, what's he fighting once every 6 months for? He fought in December. He's not fighting till April. That's 5-6 months. What's he doing that for? Knocking people out in one round. He needs to be active. And if he's not going to be active, he needs to be fighting not bums. Get some durable heavies in there. Charles Martin. The argument is, well, Charles Martin, I think he pushed. Charles Martin pushed Jared Anderson to his first distance fight, I believe. So that's the narrative there. Jared Anderson was a big hype job before he got knocked out by Okolie. But before he got knocked out by Okolie, he fought Charles Martin. And he couldn't stop Charles Martin. He put Charles Martin down in round 3 but couldn't stop him. And towards the last few rounds, Martin was giving it to Anderson. And some people were saying even at that point, oh, Charles Martin's exposed Anderson. That's the narrative there. So Frank Warren saying, oh look, if you guys were sucking off Jared Anderson, what my man does to him. The point is though, what's this really proving? Well, IB, Charles Martin's a southpaw. So you got the southpaw, the Usyk angle. To be fair, he's got quite a few KOs though. Against bums, that's the truth. And got sparkled by AJ as well. Proper sparkled. AJ proper sparkled him. He cacked his pants. I don't trust him not to cack his pants in front of Atalma. In terms of the hype. Charles Martin doesn't do well with it. But then again, he did turn it round. Maybe he's learnt something now from getting in there with Jared Anderson. He's turning the leaf, but I expected more. I expect more activity from Atalma, and if he's not going to give us the activity, I expect a different level. We just see more of the same. Charles Martin and Dempsey McKean. What was the Dempsey McKean narrative? Oh, he took Joe Parker to distance. That's the narrative right now for Atalma is, oh, this guy took people distance. How many more of these do we need to see? Right? How many more of these distance dudes do we need to see? I need to see someone who's durable. I've seen Charles Martin jump on the floor. What does that prove? I need to see you in there with, what's his name? Jarrell Miller. Andy Ruiz. Durability. Yeah. And it's not, I'm sorry, but I believe if you can really box, no one should not be able to lose to Jarrell Miller. His feet are too slow. If you can actually box and move, It's not a hard fight. He's so slow and so heavy. You just get in there, box him up, move him around, get him tired, and start touching him. Right? If you've got any level of boxing ability, Jarrell Miller's straight up and down, stiff as you like, slow as you like, no power as you like. Good chin, but no power as you like. He's there, heavy bag. He's going to test you though. He's not going to jump on the floor like Charles Martin. He can take a shot. Is Atama the second coming or not? If he's not, then I get it why you keep putting him in there with these stiffs who you know you're going to win against. The Miller fight, there's some intrigue there. Yes, YB, he's only 12 years old, so he needs to be stretched out a bit more. Pause. I was expecting something more, to be honest. Let's have a look at the heavyweight rankings, quick time. Let's have a quick look at the heavyweight rankings. I was expecting something else. I'm not sure what, but I was expecting something else. Okay, you can argue, well, YB, Andy Ruiz got beat by Jerome Miller, so maybe it's too much of a step. Let's have a look at some of these names, what makes sense to me. I mean, to be honest, I get it. Joyce and Dillian Whyte, I'm happy they're fighting each other, so forget about that. I was about to say, why didn't you get Joyce? I mean, Itama in there with Dillian Whyte, but I've already said that's not right. That's not fair. It wouldn't be nice to watch. Pulev's WBA champion. How old is he? Itama previously said he don't want to give it to Pulev because he's too old. He's 43. Well, Charles Martin's 38. So you ain't that worried, right? And they've all fought bums recently. Yeah, well, yeah, no. Forget about Pulev. That would be as bad. Pulev and Charles Martin, they're interchangeable. Both no good. I'd rather have seen Wallin versus Itama than Charles Martin. I guess that fight's already booked. But this is what I'm saying. Itama should be booking, man. If you knock someone out in a round and you got no injuries, you should be booking like a month later. What are you hanging around for? Doing what? What's he doing all day? What's this cat doing all day, man? Fighters this early in their career, they was out like 8 to 12 times a year. Fact. In and out, in and out, in and out. You're not hanging... Itama's fighting like he's a established professional once every 5 or 6 months. And even that to me is not enough. Canelo in his prime was fighting 3 times a year. Fact. And they were top world title fights. He was taking people's belts. 2 times a year he'd take people's belts, and another time he'd have a bit of a soft fight. 3 times a year he's fighting. What's Itama doing? Knocking people out in 1 round? And having 6 months off? And then fight a bum anyway. It's like pissing me off, man. It's just irritating. Hughie Fury? I wouldn't mind seeing that. Itama, come on now. Come on, Itama. How much can you box? Yeah? Drag Hughie Fury in there. Because he ain't been knocked out before. Charles Martin has been knocked out before. Get Hughie Fury in there. It's going to bring the British crowd in. It sets a narrative. Get Hughie Fury in there with Itama. I'd prefer to watch that. I believe Hughie's never been stopped. I don't think. Let's have a look. Yeah, Hughie Fury's never been stopped. It's wicked. He's tricky. How confident are you in this power? But if you're telling me that Itama's going to beat Usyk, you best deal with Hughie Fury, right? Proper deal with him as well. He can't punch for toffee. He can't punch no one for toffee. He's going 8 rounds of pure stiffs. So he can't punch. He's quick and he's tricky. Pulev beat him 5 years ago. Povetkin beat him handedly 5 years ago. So Hughie's only 30. Okay, no, man, he's been 30 forever, hasn't he? What the This guy's been 30 forever, man. Okay, now. So, yeah. I'd have preferred to have seen Hughie Fury in there. To be honest. Who else we got here? Yeah, I guess, or Adelele. Let him have a go on Adelele, but I don't know about Adelaide. He shit himself against Wardley, to be fair. Yeah, it's not as simple then. There isn't many mid-level dudes hanging around right now. That's why, in my opinion, the matchmaking's so important to get on it quickly. Because the Wallin fight, I guess it don't matter. Wallin or Charles Martin or Hughie Fury, they're all no good. To be fair, they're all no. The heavyweight division's wide open, it from the bottom to the middle. If that makes sense. The top level's a bit different. Top 5 or 6, but the bit in between is full of stiffs. Proper stiffs. Mirat Gassiev? Otto Wallin beat him though, so that's no good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater, maybe I'm not. But for sure, hater or not, for what I will say is for a fact, I want to see more activity for these type of fights. If you're fighting the level of Pulev, Hughie Fury, Charles Martin, and you're dusting them off within 2 or 3 rounds, you've got no excuse to be out of the ring more than 3 months ever. He fought in December. 3 months from December is January, February, March. He should be fighting in March. I guess you could argue. Well, to be fair, he's fighting April 5th. So that's only... He should be fighting quicker, man. Whatever bars I said was wrong. He should be out there again, man. January, February time. Stay in there. Knock these bums out. Get pure experience. You should be taking... In this year, yeah. If he's planning on going on a bum of the month campaign, that's what you should do. Take Pulev's old ass out. Take Charles Martin's old ass out. Take Hughie Fury old ass out. Back-to-back months. Or every other month, maybe. As long as you're sparking them, bear in mind, you don't have to book the next one until you sparked the last one. If you don't spark the last one, then you take a rest and think about it. But whilst you're knocking these bums out around, I'm not sure what you're getting out of this. If that makes sense. Okay, set up a good overhand punch from a dude who's stiff. That Dempsey McQueen's upright like this. Waiting for it. You can't wait for it. Not that Italma isn't crafty and whatnot, fair play to him, but what is he learning, really? I need to see him get some rounds in. Or if he can't get rounds in, he needs to be out more consistently. God forbid they're talking about this guy. I'm going on the premise as well. I'm not saying, oh, YB, he's only 14 years old, so he can take his time. That's fine, but I'm going on the premise that he wants to fight Usyk. If you want to fight Usyk, if you're planning to be here for the next 20 years and not in a rush, I get it. Take 5. Even then, though, to be fair, I don't believe taking 6 months in between fights against bums is helping you do nothing. You need to do rounds under the lights. You can only do so much in the gym. And these are easy fights, man. These are easy fights. Or you're making them look easy, so it tells me you're above that level. Anyway, people, listen. The April 5th fight card is good. Solid. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm invested now. Because Italma was alleged to be the light-skinned prophet, I'm invested. So I will watch Italma versus Charles Martin. I will watch Okolie versus Riakporhe. I will watch Dillian Whyte versus Joyce. So the card's good, it's legit. I won't watch the Adelaide versus Tom Schwartz. That'll definitely get missed. But these 3 here, I am going to tune in. So congrats to Frank Warren. I can't knock this card at all. Some people, myself included, were saying, oh, well, anything but a turkey card is dead. That's not true in this case. This is, to be fair, this is better than they used to be. On an old card, on an old Frank Warren card, you'd get Dillian Whyte versus Joyce and pure bums. And then you get another card, Okolie versus Riakporhe. Then you get another card, Italma versus Martin headline. You get 3 headlining cards. So fair play. We're getting 3 arguable headliners on one card. So this is solid. Fair play. Anyway, people, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this one, people. Stop it.